this life you will have trouble.
But take heart.
I don't know, I feel like it's a guarantee. It might look different. Like we might not be flogged and put in prison, but I think that if we're as bold as we are called to be, that there's for sure some sort of suffering.
Because the message of cross will always be offensive.
I think of the friend that I talked about. Like there's a chance that I just got completely rejected. That's a really mild form of suffering, but that's still suffering, like.
Yeah, if you do share with them. Yeah.
You laughing at.
Stop looking at your hair. You're just like fixing your hair the whole time.
Well, I
Was
can't.
it the 2 Corinthians one I was in with you as well? Without hope, and you basically pet yourself the entire time.
He pets
Anyways,
a nose
Hey,
thing.
if you had curly hair, you would pet yourself too.
Yeah, that's true. I know someone with curly hair.
That's true. Did you say that's true?
Yeah, because I know someone else with curly hair who does that constantly. So my big thing is like,
look at yourself.
so I feel like even if I could truly give up the basic level things we think about with our own comforts and did what Paul did, that still would not be the hardest part for me. The hardest part would be for me to face down people who are different than me.
Maybe not false gospel, but lying by omission, just continual not saying anything true either. And so we stay in this comfortable place of, and I think confrontation gets a really bad, I don't think it always needs, it doesn't have to be how sometimes very meek we are and almost insecure about our stronger points of faith. It's just kind of crazy that happens a lot. I think people pleasing, especially among believers, it makes us burn out, because that's another form of just not telling the truth, like not being able to say this is too much or I can't. And I just had this discussion with my husband. I feel really convicted of this because we love getting a 10 out of 10 from people that we're acquainted with or that are looking at what we're doing or happy with the results that we're getting them. People pleasing is like a dangerous thing. And I think the reason that it was such like a smack in the face for Paul when this was happening, and the way that N.T. Wright points it out, is because it's like when you say I'm a people pleaser, you're saying that I will absolutely abandon Christ if it makes me uncomfortable around other human beings. Just trying to make sure everybody is happy. Sometimes the cost for that is discipleship.
To be a true disciple, we would be maybe preaching the gospel more. We're calling that being honest with people and choosing to say what's true, whether they're going to like it or not. And I just want to delineate. I think we have a perception that a true Christian, or Paul, would say it even if it ticked everybody off, and he doesn't care because he's a real disciple. And maybe another way to look at this is if we're willing to tell the truth to people, and this makes me go back to what you were saying, Joseph, and this was mine. I think we can tell people the truth if we're willing to spend time with them and connect with them, and not just going up to strangers and saying, "Hey, I noticed you have a Christian bumper sticker, but you have cigarettes, you're smoking cigarettes," or like, it's not pointing out people's faults, but I think if we're gonna speak the truth, we have to. It's not meaningful to people unless we're connecting with them. Otherwise, we're just more noise.
Yeah.
And to me, the cost of discipleship is actually caring enough to spend time with people, particularly broken people. Although I found that broken people are much more willing to hear hard truth than fixed people.
Well, and that's exactly what Paul was saying, is that you stopped eating with the Gentiles when a certain sect of Jews came to town. You stopped spending time with them, even though you're supposed to be in a new faith and brotherhood with them, and now you've separated yourself from them, and other people are following you, and you can't be together in faith and discipleship if you separate each other into different categories of worthiness or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect segue, Melissa, because you're starting to quote from next week's section, which happens to be the one you're teaching on. And I love that.
Yeah,
that
I've been
finishing
reading
point.
it.
Yeah, that's good. Let's say that it comes down to willing to take time for people. And some of us are better at that than others. And we have different reasons and different defense mechanisms for not doing that. I think we'll tell people the truth if we care about them and we spend time with them. I just don't want to leave it with the idea that, gee, if we were only more bold or more confrontative, we'd be true disciples. Because it feels like that's, huh?
You made up a word, confrontative.
Confrontative.
It's,
Well,
yes, it is now a word.
I like on page 68 how N.T. Wright talks about kind of halfway down the page that even though people are from radically different backgrounds, really trying to live together as an extended family, but that at that point there will be room for negotiation, for respecting one another's conscience. And I just think what you said was really powerful, Alex. No one's interested in what you're saying. The truth is, if you have no investment in them or their faith or their soul. So I think that was a really powerful point, and it made me really think.
For everyone else, we'll be covering chapter 2, verse 10 through chapter 3, verse 14, if you want to read ahead. God bless you guys. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.